We are having this meeting through Skype. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I welcome the Board of Directors of Jannat Pakistan to their 14th board meeting. Today is Saturday, the 14th of December, 2019, and the time is around 6:30 p.m. We are meeting through Skype, FaceTime, and two board members are physically present in person over here, myself and Mr. Umar Khattab Khatak. The venue of the meeting room is the office of Jannat Pakistan Incorporated at 15821 Central Avenue, Wasco, California, 93280. The following directors constituting a quorum of the board are present. Thank you, all of you, for coming. Myself, Asrul Islam Sayyed, President and CEO, and a board member, Mr. Umar Khatak, are present in person. The following directors are participating in the proceedings of the meeting by Skype or live cell phone. We have, I'm just going to see if, who else is, Mr. Zafar Iqbal, are you there, sir? Thank you so much, Mr. Zafar Iqbal, for being here with us. So I think we can begin now, and just let me get the thing straight. Please sit down. We mutually agreed on Tuesday, December the 3rd, by cell phone group chat to hold the board meeting on Friday, December 13, but because of some unavoidable circumstances, a family medical emergency of our secretary was reported to all board members that the meeting was postponed, and it is now being held today. So it is today, it is Saturday, and we are just counting and beginning the meeting at this point. I will be calling the meeting to order with the consent and approval of all board members who are present. Since we have a quorum, as we can see on the Skype, do we all consent and approve that the transaction of any and all business by the directors of the meeting, including a discussion which we may have without any limitation involving the activities of the corporation, we can now proceed with the meeting. Is that all right with everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Umar Khattab.
Welcome.
Okay, so the meeting room in the office of Jannat Pakistan at 15821 Central Avenue. The following directors constituting a quorum are present. Our current Secretary and Treasurer, Ms. Naseem Israr Sarfaraz, is present. Mr. Shajar Abbas Khan is present. Dr. Manjeet Kaura is there on the cell phone. Dr. Monica Ali Yasin is there. Mr. Umar Khattab Khatak is there, and Mr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal is there. Now, Dr. Asrul Islam, as the chairperson, I'm calling the meeting to order. Miss Naseem Sarfaraz, Miss Naseem Israr Sarfaraz, I'm requesting you to record the minutes of the meeting. We begin our meeting by announcing, for sake of record, the passing away on November 8th of this year, 2019, of Dr. Mona Kumari Dawar, who had served this organization, Jannat Pakistan, since its establishment in 2011 as its first secretary and treasurer. We stand acknowledging the services rendered by her for this organization. She was a bold and brave American who stood up for God's cause, Sabil Allah. May God grant her best of the places in heaven. Now, following the demise of Dr. Mona Dawar, by the power vested in me by the bylaws of Jannat Pakistan, I nominated board member Ms. Naseem Israr Sarfaraz to be the ad hoc treasurer and secretary of Jannat Pakistan. Our ad hoc secretary and treasurer Miss Naseem Israr Sarfaraz is participating from Sacramento, California. Mr. Shajar Abbas Khan from Bakersfield. Dr. Manjeet Kaura is participating from North Carolina. Miss Monica Yasin Ali is participating from Dallas, Texas. And Mr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal is participating from Canton, Michigan. Thank you, all of you, for coming together on Skype. This is our first attempt to hold a meeting together on Skype, so kindly bear with me. The directors had mutually agreed on Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2019, by cell phone and group chat communications to hold the next board meeting on Friday, December 13, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. But because of a family medical emergency of our one of our board members, the meeting was postponed for a day. Also, we mutually decided to hold the meeting using Skype and cell phones today, Saturday, December 14. I'm saying this again for record, Saturday, December 14, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. We have convened and we now consent and approve the transaction of any and all business by the directors at the meeting, including a discussion without any limitation involving activities of the corporation and its progress in its educational mission. I request Miss Naseem Israr Sarfaraz, our ad hoc secretary and treasurer, to kindly record the minutes of the meeting. We begin our meeting by announcing, sadly, for sake of our records, the passing away on November 8th of this year, 2019, of Dr. Mona Kumari Dawar, who had served this organization, Jannat, Pakistan, since its inception in 2011 as its first secretary and treasurer. We acknowledge the wonderful services rendered by her for this organization. She was a bold and brave American who understood and stood up for God's cause, Sabil Allah, believing that this ideology can and is the only ideology that can unify mankind. May God grant her the best of the best places in heaven. Following the demise of Dr. Mona Dawar, by the power vested in me by the bylaws of Jannat, Pakistan, I nominated board member Ms. Naseem Israr Sarfaraz to be the ad hoc treasurer and secretary of Jannat, Pakistan. In today's meeting, foremost before all of us is the agenda of finalization of the nominee for the position of secretary, the permanent position of secretary and nominee. So I have nominated Ms. Naseem Sarfaraz Iqbal to be the secretary. Anybody who may second this nomination, please?
I
Any of
second the
you?
nomination of Mrs. Nasreen Israr Sarfaraz as Secretary and Treasurer of Jannat,
Thank you
Pakistan.
very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Monica. Anybody having any objections to this nomination? Great. There are no objections, so let's proceed. Today, by the unanimous approval of the board, I have the honor to formally announce the name of Miss Naseem Israr Sarfaraz as the Secretary and Treasurer of Jannat, Pakistan. A notification of this appointment shall be sent to the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, of the United States of America by Form 990 before the month of May in the year 2020. On behalf of all board members and fiduciaries of Jannat Pakistan, and on behalf of thousands of students who have been benefiting from the educational mission of Jannat Pakistan, I, Asrul Islam Sayyed, President of Jannat Pakistan, I congratulate Ms. Naseem Israr Sarfraz on your appointment. You are already a board member, so you are familiar with the bylaws and our conflict of interest policy. So let this be on record. Before I begin to talk further of our work and achievements, I would like once again to welcome all of you who have joined us today voluntarily, volunteers who are joining us over the cell phone network. I want to introduce to all of you our new board member, Mr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal, who lives in Canton, Michigan. Mr. Muhammad Zafar is a U.S. citizen who takes pride in being an American, having immigrated to the United States of America from Pakistan in 1986. He holds a master's degree in political science from the Punjab University. He is joining us by cell phone today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Islam. It is my pleasure, and it is amazing, exceptional, and I have no words for that, for Dr. Islam. Please, I am looking for that person from 30 years living in my life, and looking for some person who's gonna be able to guide me on the right path. And I try all my life to be that the personality he had, I couldn't believe that. And one day I was in YouTube, and somehow I met with Dr. Islam, and I was listening and listening and listening, and months, and
Recently, on Friday, the 29th of November, Mr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal, on Friday, the 29th of November, I recall very well, he came to visit the office of Jannat Pakistan all the way from Michigan. And we had the honor of hosting him and his wonderful family over here. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal, for joining our mission. Thank you very much. Once again, I am proud to say this board meeting of Jannat Pakistan is an occasion for us to celebrate how this small organization of ours has been able to bring, through interactive social media, a gradual and wonderful transformation in the thought processes of thousands of educated Pakistanis and Indian Muslims who were on the verge of getting radicalized. More and more Muslims are now beginning to become more open to accept the values of freedom of thought, equality of men and women, and free speech, which are the hallmarks of our civilization. More and more Muslim youth are connecting with us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and WhatsApp groups. More Pakistanis and Indian youth are accepting reason and rationality. More young Muslim scholars are rising and challenging the wrongful, bigoted beliefs of their ancestors. We, the board members of Jannat Pakistan, are the pioneers of this long-awaited educational revolution in the Islamic world, and we have every reason to feel proud of the wonderful work that we have been doing. The idea of Jannat Pakistan Education Mission was conceived, I'm saying this for our new board members, this was conceived as early as October of 2001, following the September 11 attacks. And this was conceived between some of the senior board members who are present here following the September 11 attack in 2001 and the ensuing wrongful media propagation against the religion of Islam. I felt it was my duty to educate fellow Americans about the personality and glory of Muhammad the Great lawgiver, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the real Muhammad as he truly was. So in October of 2001, 18 years ago, my wife, Dr. Naila Sayed, who is a psychiatrist with a vast knowledge of behavioral sciences and who had the experience of living under the Saudi Wahhabi regime, and myself, a scholar of the Quran and a descendant of the great Muhammad of Arabia, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we felt it was our duty to challenge this wrongful media onslaught aimed at nauzubillah, disgracing and degrading the name of Muhammad Rasulullah. We had no effective forum. Our very dear friend, the late Dr. Mona Dawar, reached out to the local media and made arrangements for me to deliver talks on Islam. The first one happened at Cal State University and another one at, again, the Dora Auditorium of Cal State University. It was a question and answer session that lasted for several hours. I delivered thus my first talk on the life of the real Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the lawgiver whose name gleams in the United States Supreme Court. It gleams on the building atop a frieze that has the name of the world's 18 great lawgivers. Since then, we have been active in educating Muslims and helping them, enabling them to liberate themselves from their wrongful and hateful religion that had nothing to do with the teachings of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we wanted them to join the rest of the free human race.
Good evening, everyone. Resolve that we honor and acknowledge wonderful work done by Jannat Pakistan and its fiduciaries. We acknowledge that for any ideology to survive, it is essential for the ideology to have a political platform to spread its message across. Resolve that the board acknowledges that in order to legitimize the mission of Jannat Pakistan USA in Pakistan, the establishment of our political wing in Pakistan is justified as it is in accordance with the bylaws and mission statement of Jannat Pakistan. Resolve that our political activity and its expenditure were absolutely necessary for the continuity of our mission in Pakistan. I shall subsequently present detail of expenses.